Hey guys, welcome back to Cheat Day Sports. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Um, Today we got three Thursday night games that we're gonna start discussing that I think are gonna be pretty interesting. So, let's just get right into it. Um, our first game of today is TCU at Texas Tech. At the beginning of the year, I, I would have thought that this would have been a like a Big 12 championship implication game on the line. But now it's just two of the mid teams in the Big 12 going at it. I'm going to take Texas Tech. I think, especially when Texas Tech played Oregon at the beginning of the year, I think Texas Tech showed that they can actually compete. I think that they'll just be a little too overpowered for TCU. So I'm going to go Texas Tech in that game. And the next one we have is Wake Forest Duke, which is interesting because I'm actually talking about the ACC today. But I don't think that this is going to be any surprise. I mean, Riley Leonard is out. So he's going to be missing some significant time with a toe injury, I think it was. But I still think Duke is a more complete team. I think they still have the pieces that they need to win. So I'm going to take Duke in that one. And then we have South Alabama and Troy. This is another weird one. At the beginning of the year, you think Troy could have been a team like the Group of Five team that could have made like a New Year's Six bowl game. Had a couple losses. I mean, they're 3-1. They're still having a great season. And I'm going to go with Troy in that one. I just think they're a little too overpowered for South Alabama. I'm going to go with Troy in that one too. So let's just jump right into it. Let's take a look at the ACC, which I think is an interesting conference because Florida State being ranked the fourth team in the country right now, I think they are way overhyped. I don't think they're deserving of like that, which given they're undefeated in the playoff rankings, they have all the undefeated teams ranked like 1 through 5, which is fair. I just think Florida State's going to suffer a loss probably, or I mean, say they do manage to get undefeated and make it to the playoffs. I think that they're going to be outmatched in the playoffs. I don't see them getting a win in the playoffs at all. But with games that have like some implications into the ACC championship game, it's interesting because Louisville and Virginia Tech, Louisville suffered that bad loss to Pittsburgh, which is how that happened. I don't know. But you could have a shot because if we look, Virginia Tech and Louisville actually play each other this Saturday. And the winner of that game could be, the number 2 in the conference and be right there with Florida State in the championship game, which is pretty crazy. Like you look at, overall Virginia Tech's 4-4. They're 3-1 in conference, and this is a huge game for them this weekend. If they can get this win, I think they're pretty much set to roll up to the championship game. Because you have Boston College. I think Boston College is still overrated. They've been a little bit better than I thought they were going to be this year, but I think they rolled through Boston College and NC State, and Virginia is still a bad team. Even though they got the win over North Carolina, Virginia is still a bad team. So if Virginia Tech can get this win over Louisville, you're off to the races, and all you got to do is win out, and you're in a championship game against Florida State. But if we look at Florida State, why I say they do have a good win over LSU, but I just think it was a neutral site game, and LSU has gotten a lot better, which it seemed like they did this last year. They the longer the year's gone. I think LSU plays Alabama this week, and that's going to say a lot. And this could give Florida State's win over a more it could end up being a bigger win for Florida State. but I still think it was a very first game of the year. Weird things happen. And yeah, I mean, other than that, they beat a Clemson team. They barely beat a Clemson team that's not good this year at all. Dabo's just having a down year. I think they'll rebound. I think they'll be a lot better next year, but Clemson's just bad this year. Boston College, they barely beat Boston College, which, given Boston College is better than I thought they were going to be, but still, like, you barely beat a mid ACC team. And then if Riley Leonard was healthy, like in that Duke game, you don't know. Like, that could go either way. So I just think they're a little fraudulent. And I mean, Pittsburgh is, I mean, they beat Louisville. Like, they're Louisville's only loss, which, I mean, it's at Pittsburgh. It could be a tricky game. It could be a trap game for Florida State. I mean, if they don't have their A game, I mean, they already show that they can beat the second best team in the conference in Louisville. So I think that could be a little bit of a trap game. But other than that, I mean, they play Miami. They are home against Miami, which Miami's terrible. I hate Mario Cristobal. I think he's a terrible coach. So they should roll through them. North Alabama, yeah. And then that Florida game, I mean, it's a rivalry game that could go either way. It's at Florida too, which playing in the Swamp is a different animal. Especially, you know, if Florida's actually up and hyped for that game, that could be a tough game. But Florida's not as good as I thought they were going to be this year. But that still could be a tricky game. But yeah, I still think of all the undefeated teams, I think Florida State's the most overrated team that's left that is undefeated. But yeah, they could go. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised they go 2-2 in these last 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if they go 4-0. I mean, that's not surprising either. But I just think they're a little overrated. But yeah, if we look at Pittsburgh, I was just showing you like how they beat Louisville, which is insane. I mean, and it's another thing, it was a home game, so that's why I'm saying it could be a little bit of a trap game for Florida State. So watch out for that. I think we could have a huge upset on our hands this weekend. But if we look at the other 2 teams that are in for like pretty much second in the conference in this race, that Virginia Tech Louisville game I think is going to be huge. It'll pretty much it'll be I mean, right now it's like a 3-team race, I think, in the ACC, but the winner of this game, I think, is off to the races. And then it's between Florida State and then the winner of Virginia Tech Louisville. Because if we look, Boston College, they're a mid-team. I mean, they could win and lose that or whatever. NC State's not very good this year, and Virginia's trash. So if Virginia Tech can get this win, I mean, they could win out their next 4 games and be second in the conference, which wouldn't be surprising. If we look at Louisville, I mean, their schedule isn't that great either next. So, like, again, they play Virginia Tech, then they play Virginia, which Virginia's trash. They play at Miami, which Miami is terrible. And then they play Kentucky, which it won't matter because it's not a conference game. So, in these next 3 games, they could either, 2-1 is possible, 3-0. I could see it being more possible just because I do think Louisville is a more complete team than Virginia Tech. But, I mean, hey, with how I thought Virginia Tech their season was going to end up this year to where they are now, that could be huge. But if we look at the ACC games that are on for this week, and make some picks. If we look, Wake Forest, Duke, I already said I have Duke. I think they're a more complete team. So I'll take Duke with the minus 7. If we look at Boston College, Syracuse for Friday, Syracuse, I thought Syracuse was actually going to be decent this year. I mean, you can see they're 0-4 in conference play. So give me Boston College, even though I think Syracuse being a 3-point favorite is, I mean, I guess it's probably because they're at home, but give me Boston College in that one. And then Notre Dame Clemson, like I said, this isn't Clemson's year. I don't think it's anything with Dabo. I just think that Notre Dame's a pretty good team. I see Notre Dame, if they win out, they'll make it to a New Year's Six Bowl. So give me Notre Dame in that one. Campbell, North Carolina. Give me North Carolina, but I mean the way North Carolina's played in the last 2 weeks, who knows, maybe Campbell gets a crazy win for their program, But give me North Carolina in that one. Georgia Tech, Virginia. And this is, I mean, these are the two teams to beat North Carolina, but I still think Virginia is a really bad team. So I'm going to go Georgia Tech in that one. And we look at Florida State, Pittsburgh. I was saying earlier, this could be, like this has some I'll talk about the Pac-12. Like this has some like Pac-12 after dark vibes. Like it's a trap game. I think it could be for Florida State if they're looking past Pittsburgh. I could see Pittsburgh come out of there stealing one. But I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna take Florida State. But I think Pittsburgh could get the win, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like this is my upset pick for the ACC this week. But I mean, sure, give me Pittsburgh to beat Florida State. I'll just come out and say it. Give me Pittsburgh. We'll get some money on that one. Virginia Tech, Louisville. Like I said, we've talked about this. This is the race because it's a 3-man race pretty much in the ACC right now, and these are the teams vying for that number 2 spot in the conference. I think that, oh man, it's at Louisville. This is a tough one because Virginia Tech's really come on of late. Man, give me. I already took Pittsburgh. Give me Louisville, even though I honestly think it could be a coin flip. But I'm going to take Louisville in that one. And then we have Miami, NC State. I think that even though, because this is one that they're both middle of the pack ACC teams, even though I say Mario Cristobal's a terrible coach, I still think he has the athletes. I think his team, not his coaching, can get him the win. So I'm going to take Miami in that one. And that'll close out the picks. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. If there's anything you guys want to talk about in one of the future videos, drop it in the comments. Put your score projections for these games down in the comments. I'd love to see them. But I hope you guys all have a great cheat day. There's football on, there's basketball on tonight. Go grab a burger, go watch some sports. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.